Welcome
to the back two rooms now. You're getting a little sneak peek of what is to come in the time lapse where, we drywall out the back room and a little bit of the kitchen.
Drywall followed by more drywall, followed by ceiling drywall, followed by more drywall.
Yes, I will admit this might not be the most exciting video, but we tried to add fun commentary during the time lapse.
And it's exciting for us because this is the part where you actually see different rooms appearing.
Yes, and starting to feel the space a little bit more, and it's always exciting because it means you're getting closer to painting.
Yes,
which is a big deal.
Enjoy.
Yeah. The time lapse is happening.
The drywall is beginning. This is the very first thing of getting ready for the first wall.
It is.
Button up your wiring.
Mm-hmm.
And then
we put our plugins in when we should have left them out.
Details. Insulating.
Putting on sweatshirt so you don't get itchy. I did. You didn't.
I'm a man.
Yes.
The first piece of drywall.
Woo!
Which is the white drywall. We'll have two drywalls. We'll have a purple and a white.
Yes.
White is for?
Non-wet environment.
Correct.
Or less
non-damp areas.
Yeah.
More like humidity.
Yeah. That's fair.
So the bathrooms, we have a purple stuff.
Bathrooms, washroom.
Yep, in the washroom, we got the purple stuff. In the kitchen, we use the white stuff.
So I feel like it can kind of get more humid in there, but because it's so open to the rest of the house, it's less likely.
Yeah.
If you had a small, really closed-in kitchen, you still might want to put some of the
probably
heftier drywall. There it is.
Look, this is my day, and I'm finishing up the drywall around the. What do you call this area? It used to be a doorway, but not a doorway anymore. It's just
walkway.
The open area.
Yeah.
The X doorway.
Throughway? I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure there is an actual term for it.
And then I patched the ceiling. The little strips from where the walls used to be. The
little strips of the ceiling.
The last remaining bits of the old wall.
So kind of you. And then there goes the hole.
Oh yeah, the inside window.
No more window.
And look, now you're back.
Yeah.
Finishing the kitchen.
True, on the opposite side.
Did you enjoy drywalling?
Yes and no. I like it when everything fits. I don't always I don't necessarily like all the measuring and finding the holes because sometimes it's off and then that's frustrating.
Oh.
But I don't mind doing drywall. Definitely enjoy doing it on the walls more than the ceiling. Because things on the ceiling are just awkward.
Oh yeah. Spoiler alert, everybody. Ceiling drywall is coming up next.
Oh yeah. I didn't realize it was a secret. Also, we might note, so I don't know if they caught that, but we didn't put any insulation behind that drywall because it's an interior wall. But since there is, which they can't see, I'm pointing at the screen.
We'll put an arrow right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
Since there is part of an exterior wall, we did still insulate that. But just in case they were like, why didn't they insulate that whole wall?
Also, same reason why we insulated the wall on the
opposite side.
Garage side.
Yeah.
Because the garage is not heated or cooled.
Right. Oh, yes. And now it's time to make the hole bigger.
Yeah, because
that's the hole back
a big
up.
hole I put in the ceiling by accident because I pulled on a cord.
It looks so much nicer now, like a big square.
And that is the proper way of patching.
It wasn't very square, and that was frustrating because the whole house is not very square.
When you say not very square, you're talking like fractions of an inch. It's not like, 3-4 inches out of square or something. I think you
that back room is
kind of exaggerate. Okay, yeah, the back room was.
And since we do a lot of our work in there, I feel like the house itself isn't that unsquare, but that back room is like every which way unsquare you can be.
Yes.
I mean, it's a little bit better now because we were able to square up some things, but even there, we had to work with what was there.
The wall we put in was plumb, true, and square.
Yes.
Oh, here you are doing some prep work for your drywall, stripping down some pieces of wood to be a nailing flange for the drywall.
Oh, true. Up on the ceiling. Again, yeah, getting ready for our ceiling drywall. And that was a weird little blip.
I know that little blip was. Disregard that blip, everybody. Oh, look. You've made tees.
Yes. Our infamous drywall holders.
Which they work really well. They take a little bit of time, though, to get used to using them.
True. Yes. And figuring out which way, I would get confused sometimes which way it was wedged. Which way it was wedged.
But they so beat holding it up with your head in your hands as someone tries to screw it in.
Oh, well, yeah. I would, yes. For sure.
And those tees are just a 2x4 or 2x6, wherever you want to. Cut it, make the top of the tee about 4 foot wide. Mm-hmm. And then make your height about an inch. Well, I guess here it's an angled roof ceiling, so it doesn't really matter the height.
Yeah,
but if you have a level ceiling and not an angled ceiling, then you just make them a little bit longer or taller than what your ceiling is, so you could wedge them in.
Maybe that was part of my problem. I think I made them exactly the same size as where I took my measurement from.
Well, here we are putting in a ceiling fan vent.
True, in the other bathroom, which will eventually still have to get drywalled, as we saw.
Yeah.
And back to the back room. Yeah, all the drywalling.
This video, in case you haven't guessed yet, is all of us doing drywall and miscellaneous little like electrical thingamabobbers every so often. Putting in some can lights, putting in some vents.
I'm trying to think if there's any other little tips or things to say about the drywalling. But thankfully, well, I guess, I mean,
it just takes...
Hopefully people, I don't know if it's known or if that's a silly comment, but the purple side goes out.
Based on our subflooring experience, I think it's always good just to point out the obvious things.
Yeah.
Like what side's front.
Yeah. So yes, the which...
Don't ever put the brown side. Yeah, all of it has a brown side.
There's always a brown side. But then the other side could be, as you saw, white or purple. Or are there other colors? Or are those the only two options?
I think for the brands we have here, it's white and purple. I think in other areas, they come in different colors. I think there's green board, which is the same thing as the purple board, I believe. Mm-hmm. So I think it's just based on the brand.
Yeah. But yeah, they have an outside and a backside. Front side, back side.
It takes practice to get good at drywall.
Yeah, and then just how far to sink your screws. I mean, we still have the little screw stopper kind of tab. What's that called?
There's a specific drywall drill bit or
drywall
drill bit you use.
Yeah.
It's a Phillips head.
It at least helps keep it from going in as far as it could. It doesn't always save it. Sometimes the drywall will suck it in, which is super weird.
But the best part is it has this little ring. We'll put a link to one of them in the description of this video. A little ring around the Phillips head, so when you're screwing, it makes a little indentation around your screw head and kind of sinks it a little bit. So when you do your mudding, it makes a nice smooth area.
True. But yeah, it keeps you from screwing all the way through your drywall.
That too.
Although sometimes, as I was saying, your screw will still kind of sink in. But we had to use two, but here where we're doing the drywall on the foam, obviously we have a thicker component that we are screwing into. Yeah. So we had to use the longer screws than just our normal drywall screws.
True. So instead of using I think we have an 1.5 inches or 1.25 inches. I think it's 1.5 inch screws we use everywhere else. But on that wall, we actually use 2.5 inch long drywall screws because I have enough space to get through the drywall, through the layer of foam, and then into the stud.
Yeah.
Oh, here's also another trick coming up here. Is in instances where you have windows or doors or big openings, do not try to cut out it ahead of time. Just put it up on the wall.
Yeah.
And then use that window as your little tracing template so you can cut it out afterwards.
Yeah, that was definitely.
You always get the perfect fit if you do it that way.
Yeah. I know. It's just a bummer that it's harder to do electrical boxes that way.
We did
because they fit. It's all the way over it versus having part.
We did get a new tool that would make it a lot easier to cut out electrical boxes without having to do it ahead of time before you put it on the wall.
True.
We have yet to master this tool and the proper use of it. So we won't talk about it in this video because I don't know how to use it exactly yet. But
we're learning.
We use it a few times and it does make life easier. But it's just a little more skill than it looked like.
So here we're putting on our last full wall of drywall in the back room, but you'll notice that we still have that wooden wall on the
house side.
Yeah, on the house side, which we are keeping. So that one will be, that's from the original house, and we just thought it looked really cool when we took the siding off, so we're gonna keep that bare.
And then here is the last bit of drywall for this video. Did a few little patches here in the kitchen. And then, coming up next, a few more sheets going up in the bathroom.
Oh yeah.
And enclosing our little closet.
Which will be super nice.
And now,
oh my goodness.
There's a wall.
Cycle. It's just so weird.
A real wall.
I know. It's like 2 rooms. Dang. Good stuff. And well, hopefully you enjoyed or at least tolerated watching some drywall be put up. In case you hadn't noticed in the intro, or maybe you did that I didn't mention, I had my first cutting incident while doing some drywall. Hence my awesome glove.
Under the glove is some gauze and some tape.
It really isn't that bad. I just don't do well with blood. But in more exciting house news, there was something else I was going to say. Now I don't remember.
Is it drywall related? Because
yeah, yes, obviously it kind of had to be. But if you guys have any comments or questions, make sure you leave them down below. We'd love to hear from you.
Subscribe to our channel.
Yes.
Like this video.
Tell your friends.
All of them.
Otherwise, I don't know that we have too much else.
I think that's it.
Well, that's a wrap. Tour.